officially 0%.
Oh my gosh.
KRZLE.
Yeah. Charles. Yeah.
Burt Reynolds pulls out a banana and
Yes,
starts
that's
chewing
what I was
it.
going.
Butterfly kisses.
Oh my god. Hey, fuck these drums.
The synopsis just isn't good. Oh my god. Okay. And on that note.
Ho, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special What Was That Called Again? My name is Santa Thomas.
I am St. Nicholas.
And this is a movie podcast where I have selected 3 movies, and I will read their IMDb plot descriptions to St. Nicholas, who then has to try to match the plot descriptions to the correct titles. And this is our Christmas special, in so much that, spoiler alert, everybody, the 3 movies I have picked this week all have something to do with Christmas.
I like how we didn't do this last year. That's my favorite part
I know
about this.
we haven't done this for any holiday ever since we've done this podcast, and I've always wanted to, but I always forget to. And then by the time I think of it, I'm like, "Hey, we're about to record on like the day before Halloween or whatever," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, but this won't come out for like 4 weeks."
Yeah, and then I also like too how
yes,
the listeners don't know this yet because this episode keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah, this is like the 3rd time it's been pushed back.
That I have watched a movie that we will eventually talk about. We've already Thomas and I have already talked about it, already recorded, but you haven't heard it yet. I have watched this movie already, and I am dying to talk about this movie. And then this morning, Thomas, because it is morning, by the way, Thomas was like, "Hey, can we push this episode back again and do a Christmas show?" And I was like, "Do whatever, man. I guess I just really I want to talk about this movie." So
yeah, so the episode in which this movie is referenced, like the episode that I used it, should come out next week. But then the one in which Will discusses the movie because he did watch it will be the week following
2 weeks
that.
from now,
so
for your ears.
But we did this recording that comes out next week
3 weeks ago.
Like 3 weeks ago at the time we're recording this one.
Yeah.
So good news for me though is that it still gives me time to watch it because I do want to watch it and I haven't yet. And so because I would like to also discuss that movie, and I also just want to see it because it sounds like it'd be fun to watch.
So look forward to the episode next week after you hear this episode for our Christmas special. So Christmas first.
Yep. It's very confusing on my end too because we've titled I think 3 episodes like episode 58 or something like that.
Yeah, we keep just changing it now. Yeah.
So this one I think is 58.
Yes.
But anyway, so I'm sure listeners love hearing about how we don't know
production
what we're recording.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah, so how about we just go ahead and do a drink track? Drink
Ooh, have
check.
you been drinking already?
No, but I plan to right now.
Okay. I'll go first. It is, like I said, it is morning. We did start recording just a bit ago, but we've been talking for about an hour now. So and actually we started talking before the sun came up for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm on the edge of Central Time, so it was still it was still very. It was that pre-dawn, like glow was outside whenever we started to talk. So it's very early for me on a Saturday.
That's right.
So I'm not gonna go too crazy, and then plus for the Christmas show, I decided to kind of fit in line with that. So once again, at least I think listeners have heard this already. So once again, I hope I'm going with a hot apple cider spiked with Fireball whiskey, and it's actually really good. I've had several of these since I first had one. Whenever it was that we recorded that episode, if it's even been out yet, and and I do really enjoy these. It's just enough to get like a little pep in your step sort of thing, but also the nice cinnamon and apple flavor. Plus, it's warm, so it's sort of like coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm. And then very Christmassy, very holiday-like. It's like 30 degrees outside right now. So yeah. What are you enjoying?
Yeah,
as far as your beverage goes.
I was waiting until we started to record, and so again, everybody, for the millionth time, I am a night shift guy, and I have been awake since like 1 a.m. or so, and so I feel I'm justified, at least in my own mind.
It's your evening.
That I can have a alcoholic beverage at 9:30 a.m. And so I just poured myself a delicious glass of eggnog to celebrate the season.
So that's really interesting, and that's very fitting for the Christmas show. Interesting because we had decided late in the week to move this episode's recording to this morning.
Yeah.
I had already planned that we were going to record last night. So I had ready I've never had eggnog.
That's right. We talked about this, I think, off mic.
Yeah. So I got eggnog, and I was going to spike the eggnog. But then I was like, eggnog doesn't feel like it would be an appropriate thing at like 8 a.m, so I'm going to wait.
Probably. Yeah.
So I'm going to have spiked eggnog on my own tonight. So it's interesting that you chose to have nog on your technically evening. You'll
need to let me know what you think of that. Yeah, I haven't had any in probably like 7 or 8 years because I slammed like 2 or 3 bottles, not in a row, but over the course of a month or so, like 7 or 8 years ago, and I basically got tired of it at a certain point, and then I had a bottle that was like partially drank that just sat in my fridge for like a month, and then it went bad, and I was like, I'll just not have any of this for a while. So this sip that I just took is actually the first sip since then that I've had of eggnog.
I will confess good to be back, I think. That I have had a sip of the eggnog since I bought it earlier this week. So I do know now what eggnog because I was a little worried that I maybe wouldn't like it, even though everyone's like, you'll love it. It's definitely very good. But I'm curious, does your brand remind you of the flavor of bubblegum, and is that normal?
Oh, I can see it. I've never thought that until you said it, but I can absolutely see that. Yeah. Very cinnamon nutmeggy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I do. But I can like, absolutely see where you're coming from.
First sip, I was like, bubblegum? I was like, holy, I was not expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting just like vanilla milkshake, melted, sort of. I had no idea. I knew that they were spiced in some way, but I had no concept of what that meant. So I was not expecting like, oh, this is like a double bubble flavor.
I chuckled because you said you had a sip of the eggnog that you bought earlier this week, but at first I thought you were just referring to eggnog as the eggnog.
The eggnog.
I thought that was a really interesting choice.
I will from now on. I'm drinking the eggnog.
So, yeah. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
yes.
Listeners from around the globe, this is coming out on December 23rd, I believe. So happy holidays in whatever holiday you're celebrating. This is our War on Christmas episode. So we are going to be kicking off our trio of Christmas films in the year 1912.
Oh, wow. Going way back.
Oh, yeah.
1912.
Classic.
Okay. And this is a Christmas movie.
Yep.
Okay. I'm really curious about this.
I bet you are. Your synopsis for this, as written on IMDb, written by user Snow Leopard.
Appropriate.
This synopsis reads as follows. Well-to-do Mr. and Mrs. Gilton live next door to a large family that struggles to make ends meet. Despite their desire to be friendly, Mr. Gilton is frequently irritated by his neighbors. He insists that they stay out of his yard and blames them for anything that goes wrong.
Okay.
During the holiday season, the differences between the two families become even clearer. Mrs. Gilton wants to do something to help their neighbors, but Mr. Gilton will take a lot of convincing.
Okay, so we've taken the classic Charles Dickens tale, and we've kind of spun it up for a modern story with a more modern take on society. Interesting. Definitely don't know what this is. 1912. No way I know what this is. I'm assuming it's a silent film.
I can confirm that. Yeah, it is.
I think silent films were the thing until about the 20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is really early cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me try to retell this.
Try. I dare
1912. You said that there is a Mr. and Mrs. Gilton.
Yes.
Who are well off, and they live next to a large family who isn't, basically.
Yep.
And Mr. Gilton is annoyed by this family for some reason, for just being
These
not well off.
poor assholes.
Yeah. It's just whatever it is. He's just a jerk. And while at the same time, Mrs. Gilton wants to do more to help them.
Yeah.
And was there something else at the end there?
No, that essentially sums it up. Mrs. Gilton wants to do something to help their neighbors, but Mr. Gilton will take a lot of convincing.
So basically, she has to really pull at his reins to get him to come around.
She's got that caring lady quality where you want to just be caring for other people, and Mr. Gilton's like the man of the house.
If they would just work and make something to solve problems, they could turn that into money. Yeah.
Yes. Why weren't they born into money?
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure there's some one of the children of the larger family is in some way mobily
has one crutch,
incapacitated. Yeah. They have some kind of issue. I don't know what to say necessarily a disability or anything like that. It could just be an injury. Something along those lines. Yeah. And that's going to there's going to be something that like is the thing that makes Mr. Gilton have a soft spot in his heart and a twinkle in his eye. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's basically Scrooge and that whole thing, but you've removed the idea of ghost and isolation and selfishness and put all that into one man, and then his wife is essentially all the things that show Scrooge that he should be better. So that's interesting. Okay, next Christmas movie, please.
Absolutely. Your second one is going to be from the year 1914.
Okay, wow. So we're staying back there.
Yep. Your synopsis for this one reads as follows. When a burglar dressed as Santa Claus steals a family's Christmas presents, amateur detective Octavius sets out to recover the loot.
Okay, so, this almost sounds... I know that How the Grinch Stole Christmas is not necessarily original, but this sounds like that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where Dr. Seuss got his story from, but maybe...
might have some explaining to do.
Yeah, well, maybe it either came from this, or maybe they both share some older story. Okay, say this one more time for me, just so I know it's 1914 and there's a burglar and stuff, but just make sure I'm clear on this one.
Yeah, when a burglar dressed as Santa Claus steals a family's Christmas presents, amateur detective Octavius sets out to recover the loot.
When a burglar dressed as Santa Claus steals presents from a family, an amateur detective, you said, named Octavius for some reason.
Correct.
Basically tries to find who stole these presents. Okay. This also sounds a little bit like Bad Santa. The Billy Bob Thornton
movie. Maybe Billy Bob's got some explaining to do.
I can't remember if that was if he was stealing presents or if he was just a horrible drunk bad person. Okay.
He was. Yeah. I believe he was becoming mall Santas and robbing the department stores in which he worked.
Okay, so sort of the same concept then. That's really Hollywood is full of original ideas, and okay, interesting. I don't know this one at all, other than movies that came out decades later. So that's not helping me any. Next title or next synopsis, please.
Yep, your final film is going to be from the year 1966.
Oh, so this is way in the future.
Yep.
50 years later.
Your synopsis for this one reads as follows. Santa has to get a job as Santa to earn money to pay his overdue rent bill.
Okay, this actually sounds familiar. But I don't know if I'm remembering like a modern take on this story or not. But I do remember something about a movie where actual real Santa has to pretend or basically get a job as pretend Santa. But I don't know. Okay, so this one is 1966. Santa has to get a job as Santa to pay his rent and bills, you said?
Yep, to earn money to pay his overdue rent bill.
His overdue rent bill. So who is his landlord? And
Good question.
And where? Like, what is it like?
Even Santa is not above the capitalist stranglehold.
I mean, I thought he was at the top, really, but apparently not. Okay, so maybe it's not his North Pole dwelling. Maybe he has like a warehouse for all these presents. He's got a place
in Malibu.
Yeah. His summer home after the holidays. Yeah, he really needs a place. He's got to keep Mrs. Claus happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one, like I said, that one does sound familiar in the sense that, like I said, I might be remembering elements of like a more modern version of this. I don't know. 66. That doesn't feel familiar. Okay. The first film of this Christmas special was from 1912. And in the 1912 movie was about Mr. and Mrs. somebody, Gustavo, something G name, I think.
Mr. Gilton.
Gilton, that's what it was. The Gilton. The Giltons. Living next to a larger family who is less...
It's a little on the nose. I think they're supposed to be the Hiltons, is what they're referencing.
Okay. Was that a thing? But I guess maybe it was back then, yeah? That family?
I doubt it.
Did they go that far back? Probably.
I don't know.
It's always old money. Okay, so the Giltons live next to the Lazy Poors in a larger family, and who are not as well off, clearly.
Yeah.
And Mr. Gilton is annoyed by them for some reason.
He blames them for anything that goes wrong.
They just everything that happens. It's those rambunctious kids and their struggling mother and their dopey dad who has 3 jobs.
Yep.
Why can't he be around to take care of the kids? So Mr. Gilton blames them for all the wrongs, while Mrs. Gilton wants to do more to help them. And she has to basically pull Mr. Gilton along to get him to agree to this.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. The second film was from 1914.
Yep.
And this was a criminal who dresses like Santa to steal Christmas presents from families, is then investigated by an amateur investigator by the name of Octavius, I do believe, who hopes to find out who is doing this.
Yeah, amateur detective Octavius sets out to recover the loot.
Oh, so he just wants to just get the presents back. So he's not even necessarily worried about who is doing it. He just wants to get the presents back. Okay, that's fair enough. That's a nice goal to have. Just let's get the presents back because it's Christmas Day, and there's all these families that don't have. Yeah, that's definitely the Grinch story. I don't know where that came from before this movie, but that feels like the Grinch story. Okay, the last film presented to me on this Christmas episode, as I open it up slowly with the bow on top.
Christmas Spectacular.
The Christmas Spectacular. It was from 1966, and oh damn, this one. 1960. Oh, this one was Santa has to get a job as a Santa in order to pay his rent.
Yeah, his overdue rent.
His overdue. Yeah. Not even just pay his rent. He's behind. Yeah. He's behind. He's being evicted in 90 days, which happens to be Christmas morning.
If Santa can't pay his rent bill, he's going to be out on his ass.
There'll be no cheer for girls and boys. Yeah. What heartless asshole landlord's like, sorry, Santa, but rules are rules, and
I can't afford to remortgage my sleigh.
It doesn't matter that we have an agreement. The terms are in the lease, and you're 30 days behind.
I already sold Prancer and Vixen.
Oh, it's so sad.
He sold 2 reindeer to pay his previous month's bill.
Yeah. Well, that just doesn't cover it anymore, Santa. Like you've oversaturated the reindeer market, and now no one wants to buy any.
I sold 1,800 gifts on eBay that were supposed to go to Santa, good boys and girls.
You didn't take into fact that eBay takes 20%, and then there's shipping on that. So you need to find it. You just need to go get a job. That's what you need to do. In fact, I hear the mall's hiring, and they're looking for a Santa. I think you'd be great at that. Yeah, he's just like, I don't want to be Santa. I am Santa. Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, that one feels familiar. The concept does, at least, as far as fake Santa having to pretend to be real Santa. I want to say maybe I have seen a movie like that, but I don't know if it was from '66. That feels way older than what I'm picturing in my head, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Okay, I think I'm ready for titles, and they're probably all going to be like Holiday Cheer at Ho Ho Town or something. Snow. I don't know.
Yeah, your first title, Holiday Cheer at Ho Ho Town.
Okay.
Which one is that?
First, all of them. First title, please.
Yep, your first title is actually The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
Oh, The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
Yep.
I mean, it naturally feels like it goes with the '66 film of, real Santa being a non-real Santa, but then it also kind of goes with the burglar dressing up as Santa, but calling it The Adventures of makes it sound like following him is like following his escapade as he robs families is enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it goes with the Giltons in the 1912 film. There's no mention of Santa there. There's not even any mention of Christmas there, really. Is there? I don't think in the synopsis. It's just the holiday season. Like we're nearing.
Correct. Yeah. It just says during the holiday season.
Right. So, I mean, and clearly this is Hollywood. So that's clearly Christmas, but I feel like that's kind of like gearing up. It's not the actual day. So I don't think there's a Santa involved in the 1912 film. Or if there is, it's a cameo at the end. But we do have two Santa movies, at least in the synopsis. And it said it's The Adventures of the Wrong Santa Claus?
Yeah, Adventure. The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
The Adventure.
Yep.
Okay. The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus. Like I said, it's kind of, as of right now, it's evenly split between the 1914 burglar film and then the 1966 Santa as Santa film.
Yeah.
Okay, next title, please.
All right, your second title to go off of will be A Christmas A Christmas Accident.
A Christmas Accident.
Yeah. I almost said incident. That's why I had to restart.
A Christmas Accident.
Oops.
Again, like there's not really any mention of Christmas specifically in the 1912 film. Because I mean, even if we go, if we relate this back to like the Charles Dickens, a Christmas, was it a Christmas Story or Christmas Tale or the Scrooge? What was that called again?
Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol. Thank you. Like that specifically is in the title, and then it ends with like the events of Christmas Day. Well, I guess it doesn't really end. It also kind of like the ghosts come because it's Christmas Day the next day. But anyway. But it still like always feels like to me that if you removed the whole Christmas thing or the specific Christmas Day element of that and just made it about like the holiday season, it would still work.
Yeah.
Say this title again. It was what?
A Christmas Accident.
A Christmas Accident. I just don't feel like 1912. I don't know for Christmas Accident. Yeah, I don't know if that fits that one. We don't know of any accident that took place, other than maybe Mrs. Gilton marrying Mr. Gilton. That might be the only accident there.
Oops.
Well, I mean...
Well, she had no say, probably.
I guess there is the whole thing of Mr. Gilton blaming everything that happens on this other family. So maybe there was an accident that took place on Christmas.
He's like got a headache, and he's like, those bastards did this.
Yeah. And then
they blasted their 5G into my bedroom.
Mrs. Gilton's like, oh, Henry, we have to be nice. It's Christmas Day. Even though it was an accident, it's still Christmas Day. Yeah.
Of course, honey, I'm going to kill them.
Neither of them would say that. That was all just us reading the cards. The
text cards.
Okay, so does it maybe fit the 66 film, The Christmas Accident?
A Christmas Accident, yeah.
Because
He accidentally forgot to pay his bill.
Well, no, I'm thinking that like Santa is he should be at the North Pole working.
I mean, he should. Yeah.
But he's having to make money like the rest of us, and that maybe for some reason, like he can't give away that he's actually Santa, right? Even though he really wants to. But then something happens on Christmas Day at the mall or wherever it is that he's being employed, that causes him to have to do something that reveals to everyone that Santa is real and that Santa's here and has been here the whole time. Maybe. Because I don't think the Christmas accident fits the burglar who is going around and stealing presents, because either that would either happen before Christmas Day, like Christmas Eve, or whatever. And I also don't feel like that would be an accident. That's very intentional.
Seems like it.
Okay, so I think I'm leaning towards the 66 film on that one. Okay, last title, please.
Okay, your last title is going to be The Christmas That Almost Wasn't.
Oh, damn, I've heard that before. The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. Oh, I mean, it almost wouldn't be if Santa's going to be evicted. And you also... Oh, wait, that's true. You also didn't say... See, I've been thinking that these are live action films. The 66 one could very well be animated.
Possible.
Maybe that's where I. But then there's the Year Without a Santa Claus, and that's maybe what I'm thinking of. Damn it! So it was The Christmas That Almost Wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if Santa gets evicted, then that is not going to be a Christmas. And the landlord's
we have...
well, you need to pay up like everyone else, asshole.
Yeah. Pay your bills. Get a job.
Oh, what is Santa to do?
Being nice and giving cheer to the world does not pay your utility bills. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay, so
it doesn't line the pockets of the landlord that exploits.
Right. So we have The Christmas That Almost Wasn't.
Correct.
The Christmas Accident.
Yep.
And then what was the first title again?
The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
That's right. The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus. Okay. Yeah, I don't know really where any of these go, because I kind of want them all to go in the 1966 film. I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge of early cinema to really know how something like that might be titled. The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. The Christmas Accident. And
A Christmas Accident.
A Christmas Accident. And The Wrong Santa Claus?
The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus. Damn. The Christmas That Almost Was. I'm playing these in my head. I'm saying them out loud to like sound out which one sounds early 1900s. Even though there's two films, I have to go with two of them. So really, I should figure out which one is for sure the 66 movie. Okay. The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
Let's see you unpack these ones.
Yeah.
See you unwrap
this mystery. There is the Adventure. Was it? Sorry. Was it The Adventure? Of
the Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
Okay, The Adventure. So what did I say before? The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
I don't know, something different.
Yeah, clearly. So wait, I can't even recall the titles. Hold on. We have The Adventure, A Adventure.
Will has secretly been slamming alcoholic eggnog this whole time.
Yeah. I've only had 2 drinks of my cider too. It's just morning, I think. Okay. So we have The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. Correct?
Correct.
We have was it The or A Adventure
The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus.
And A Christmas Accident.
A Christmas Accident, that's the one. Okay, so that's the different one. A Christmas Accident. A Christmas Accident, The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus, and The Christmas That Almost Wasn't.
Yep.
Okay. I feel like the Christmas, even though it sounds like it might be the story about Santa potentially being evicted, is The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. That, I really feel like that fits, but it almost fits too perfectly. And I don't have anything for the 1912 film at all. And I feel like I could, in my head at least, see like the fancy scroll writing typeset on like the title card of this 1912 silent film. That's probably like 15 minutes long at most. It comes up as The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. And it's like, oh shit, what happens there? I got to go see why Christmas almost wasn't. And
Edison film production.
yeah, exactly. I could almost see that. So for now, I'm going to park The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. For the 1912 film about the Giltons, the curmudgeon Mr. Gilton, and the soft sweetheart Mrs. Gilton, living next door to the larger, less well-off family,
poor family. Yeah,
the poors, as they call them in the film, and Mrs. Gilton trying to win Mr. Gilton over into helping them. I'm going to call that one The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. Reason being is I'm going to say that the larger family, who's less well off than the Giltons, basically they can't afford to have Christmas this year. Or like dad has to work on Christmas. It's basically, like I said, like the whole A Christmas Carol tale. That family was not going to be able to celebrate Christmas because of either work or lack of money. And the Giltons, being the rich, well-off upper class that they are, came in and swooped in and saved the day as the heroes that all the poors need them to be. So The Christmas That Almost Wasn't is the 1912 film. That leaves The Adventure of the Wrong Santa, and gosh, what was the other one? The
Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus and A Christmas Accident.
A Christmas Accident. I keep forgetting that one. Okay, A Christmas Accident and The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus. I'm going to say that the wrong Santa Claus is talking about the burglar dressed up as Santa. And that I'm going to say that, sort of like the Grinch, someone's awake whenever they shouldn't be, whenever these presents are being stolen, basically. And that the burglar has to kind of pretend to be Santa in order to get into these homes. And we're following that adventure for whatever reason. So I'm going to call the 1914 film, and I don't know how Octavius fits into this, but I'm sure he's in there somewhere. But the 1914 film is going to be called The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus. And that leaves A Christmas Accident for the 1966 film where Santa is forced to get a job as Santa in order to pay his overdue rent.
Yeah.
Final answer.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, let's unwrap this gift of an episode and see how many Will got right this Christmas holiday season. He got one correct.
Oh, damn. Okay. I've not been a good boy then. Only one? Shit.
That's right. Will's been a bad boy this holiday season.
Which one did I get right? Do I switch the two early 1900s films?
Do you?
I mean, okay, A Christmas That Almost Wasn't. Was it? So maybe because the gifts are being stolen, it's up to Octavius to save Christmas.
Octavius.
To get these gifts
Phineas
back.
Esquire.
Yeah, to get these gifts back. So if he doesn't get the gifts back, then it'd be a Christmas that almost wasn't. Possibly.
That's possible.
But then that means the Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus is the 1912 film with the Giltons? A Christmas Accident.
He's got himself in quite the Christmas pickle, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm going to keep the 1966 film there, which I said was A Christmas Accident. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch the 12 and 1914.
So then in your rationale, just to hear your thoughts, what is the accident? Is it just him being evicted? It's like an accident that shouldn't happen? Him not remembering to pay his bill?
No, I'm going to say... So,
like one of the reindeer ate his bill?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. No, I'm going to say that either, like I said before, he's having to hide his identity as the real Santa. For whatever reason, he can't, let that be known, because then he would rake in billions of dollars. Or whatever the clause is that he can't let people know that he's Santa Claus. Until something happens, an accident happens, and then that's what reveals to everyone that he's Santa. Or the accident is that there's been a billing error or some kind of miscalculation, and he doesn't actually owe this rent that is due. He just is told that he does. And then it isn't until the end where, something is revealed, or there's a mistake that's been found or whatever, that is revealed that, it's just an accident. You actually you didn't have to work and be with the poor children who are suffering. You could have stayed up north the whole time.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Says Santa.
So that's where I'm going to keep that one, A Christmas Accident, on the 1966 film. So now the 1912 film, The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus. Again, I don't know how Santa really plays into this at all, but maybe Mrs. Gilton talks Mr. Gilton into being Santa Claus. Oh, honey, just do it, just this one day. And then he's like, nah, I don't want to do it. So he's like a curmudgeon the whole time, but then because he does it anyway to appease his wife, he softens up whenever he realizes how much joy he's bringing. So I'll say that. And that leaves the 1914 film of the burglar dressed up as Santa Claus stealing Christmas presents, and then the amateur detective trying to get them back. I'm going to say that one is The Christmas That Almost Wasn't.
Okay.
Final.
And the final here this holiday season, Will turns his 1 out of 3 into a 0 out of 3.
A big lump of coal.
A big fat lump of coal in Will's stocking this season.
Okay. Wow.
So, starting off in 1912, we have A Christmas Accident. This is from director Harold M. Shaw. Scenario by Bannister Merwin, the oldest sounding name that you could think of.
It's like a part of a staircase, isn't it?
Yeah, Bannister Merwin. Story by Annie Elliott Trumbull.
Okay.
So this film, there's not a ton of information that was available on this film. The full thing, you were correct, is 15 minutes. It is available.
I just pulled that out of my ass.
It is available in full on YouTube, of course. Worldview Entertainment and the Killiam Collection released a set of 9 early movies about Christmas, collectively called A Christmas Past, with an original score by Al Krizak.
Okay.
This movie is the 4th one and has a runtime of, like I said, 15 minutes. Moving on to 1914's The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus. This is from director Charles M. C. Story by Frederick Arnold Kummer, Kummer, Coomer, I assume, but it's funnier to say Kummer. This movie is also in full on YouTube. It is the 5th on the A Christmas Past collection, so it comes from the same set as the previous 1912 film. The score for this short film did not survive in the version that is still available to see on YouTube. Its score is the soundtrack from a pair of old Warner Brothers cartoon shorts.
Oh, interesting.
And evidently, this is the 12th and final episode in the Octavius Amateur Detective series.
Wow, this is a franchise.
Yes. This is part 12 of 12 of Octavius Amateur Detective.
Are they all holidays, I wonder, or are they all just random
I don't know.
things?
Yeah, I want to see. If so, we need to track down
Where is Octavius now?
The Halloween investigation.
Oh yeah, for sure. But where is Octavius now as far as IP goes? Like, why isn't Hollywood
how come
recycling
Sherlock
Octavius?
gets all the detective stories?
Yeah,
we need
right.
Octavius to come back in.
Yeah.
Let's get I don't know, fucking like Oscar Isaac to play Octavius.
And there were 12 of them by 1914.
Yep, and this one was released just in time for Christmas of 1914. And then finally, in the year 1966, we got The Christmas That Almost Wasn't from director Rossano Brazzo, written by, Brazzi, and he co-wrote the film with Paul Tripp. Story by Paul Tripp. This movie is streaming at the time of recording on Plex, Pluto, Tubi, and Peacock. It is, if you can't figure out by the name of the director, an Italian picture.
No way.
The director, Rossano Brazzi, passed away on Christmas Eve of 94.
Oh.
Interesting little Christmas tie-in, kind of, I guess.
He was reincarnated as Santa.
It's very possible. The movie was shot without live sound, as with a lot of old school Italian films.
Yeah.
While most of the actors mouthed or spoke the script in English, in the American version, all the Italian actors, except for our director who plays a character in the film, had their voices dubbed by someone else so that their accents would not show up. The director Brazzi, who appeared in many American films, is the only Italian who speaks English with his native accent. And what American films was he in, you may ask? He was in The Italian Job, Barefoot Contessa, and South Pacific. So yeah, interesting stuff, kind of. What do you think about the rankings on these? You don't really have a ton of info.
No. Yeah, that's where I've been at this entire time you've been talking about them, is I don't know how these are going to rank at all.
Yeah.
I kind of want the 12th film of the Octavius Adventure series to be like the best one.
I know, yeah, same.
But that was also the one, I think you said that was the one that had its score lost and it was replaced? Or was that
correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe that hurts it a little bit. I don't know. And then, sorry.
You think with it having like a Looney Tunes score, it'll be a little less impactful than it would have been?
Yeah, maybe. What was the runtime on that one again?
That one is 14 minutes.
Okay, so short.
According to IMDb, yes.
Okay. You're in and out. Is that what the people wanted in 1914?
They
or the people from
out?
1914 rating this movie? That's the question. I guess I should think about.
That is a good question.
Oh, I loved this as a child. Finally there's a system that allows me to let everyone know what I think about this movie that I saw when I was just a wee lad. Yeah. So modern folk going back and watching these movies from the early 1900s. I don't know. And then I don't know where the 66 Italian Santa film falls into place either.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought Santa paid that bill 2 weeks ago. It's like his check got lost in the mail.
Okay. So A Christmas That Almost Wasn't was 1966, correct? I just gotta refresh my brain.
Yes.
And then, what was the first film again? From 1912? That was...
1912 was A Christmas Accident.
A Christmas Accident, okay. So, A Christmas Accident, and then The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus, and then The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. 66, Italian Santa. But, and then why are people, I can understand maybe like film historian type fans going back and watching these early, but I don't know why you would seek out a 1966 Italian Santa Claus film.
Why indeed?
I mean, I from the information you gave me, there really wasn't any, draw. There's not like a well-known actor or director that's attached to this that people might just, explore the filmography of or whatever.
And bear in mind, it is directed by a person who had a career primarily comprised of acting gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also does, you said, have a role in this film.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna put...
So I wanted to say really fast, actually, this won't impact your ranking, I assume.
Okay.
So for A Christmas Accident, 1912, I actually picked the shortest of the two descriptions that were on there, and I just wanted to make a funny note that the well-off family, as listed in the description, the Giltons, the poor family next door are named the Biltons.
Oh, gosh. The Giltons and the Biltons.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I just wanted to make note of that. So keep that in mind.
Okay, yeah, that might affect
that'll change things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do we actually hear those names being...
I assume you probably read them.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, do we actually know those names? Yeah. I don't know. Oh, okay. Because it could get confusing if you're having to read title cards and then you're going back and forth between Giltons and Biltons.
Yeah, you're like, wait, which one's which?
Yeah, which one's... Yeah. So that could help me. Okay, so I'm going to say that The Christmas That Almost Wasn't is last, third place. Okay. And I'll give it the range after, but I think that's last. I'm going to say A Christmas Accident is second. There's maybe confusion with the Giltons and Biltons that hurt that, but I also feel like it's too similar to A Christmas Carol for modern audiences, and there, excuse me, for modern audiences, and there are clearer, better versions of this story, and I think also this story benefits from being longer than 15 minutes. So trying to fit all this into 15 minutes, I think, is a lot. Right? Because you're trying to convince somebody who's like against helping others to help others in that short of a time frame. I don't know if that translates to IMDb raters as far as that goes. So that leaves the 12th installment of the Octavius Adventure series. The Adventure
the 12th
of the
and
Wrong
final.
Santa. Yeah, exactly.
They closed it out with this one.
That leaves it at number 1. Now, the range, I'm going to say... Oh, man. I'm going to say between 3 and 5. I really don't think that these 1914 and 1912 films are above average.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to really tank, and probably, I mean, it's probably just a 4, like mid 4, but I'm going to really just tank The Christmas That Almost Wasn't down real low. So I'm going to say between like mid 3 to mid 5 is the range.
Okay. And with that, then, our highest rated out of these three with a 6.1 out of 10 from 310 ratings is A Christmas Accident from 1912.
Really? So that 6.1?
Yeah.
You all did Octavius wrong.
I agree. Without even having
without even
seen
knowing
it.
what the movie is. You've wronged Octavius.
Our middle film this week with a 5.6 out of 10 from
wait, stop, pause. I can also see the 12th installment of this series of Octavius being the worst because they ran out of ideas.
maybe like the first 3 Octavius
they were great.
pictures were like, oh my god, I could watch these forever.
And then by 10 you're like, oh, we've seen it, we know how this ends. And then by 12 you're just like, okay, you use Christmas as a crutch, but otherwise this sucks. Okay, so sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm really wanting to see the Octavius series. It'll probably take like an hour to watch all 12 of them. With a 5.6 out of 10 from 250 ratings.
Okay.
Is The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus, 1914. Octavius coming in second. And finally, closing out our list, or our ranking, from the year 1966, The Christmas That Almost Wasn't, is pulling up with a 3.5 out of 10.
Okay, so I got one thing right.
From 966 ratings.
I got one bullseye.
Yep.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like that one. It just seems really not in anyone's wheelhouse. I mean, I guess if you like Italian sort of cinema, that I guess would this be like considered like spaghetti Christmas? In a sense, I mean, right?
Yeah, I bet you could go see this at the New Beverly on 35 millimeter.
Definitely.
This holiday season.
Yeah, Tarantino's in love with this movie. Yeah,
he has like 3 prints.
yeah, the only 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but no, I don't feel like this is really, anyone's taste currently. I think it feels like it was done, just to make a buck. And then even then, the story just doesn't feel right. Why is Santa being charged rent? By whom is Santa being? He's fucking Santa.
Where is the place he's renting? Is it in the North Pole? And if so, who's the landlord?
And why can't he just materialize something, sell that thing, and then pay the land, or even just give it to the landlord to sell? I
hope he sold 2 reindeer to try to pay his rent.
Santa's really down on his luck. Yeah. Okay.
So we do have a
quote time.
This is where I go to the quote section.
So wait, this could be our first quote from a silent film.
It's possible. This is where I go to the quote section and I pull a quote as written, presumably by somebody on IMDb. So who knows if it actually says this? The only way to find out is to watch the movie, and who's got time for that?
Yeah. Who has 14 minutes?
Will has been giving me direction on a character to deliver these lines in. So who are you wanting for this line reading? There's one line by one character.
I want you to give this in your best scrolly font.
Scrolly font. Okay. Sure.
No. I want you to give this in. I mean, the only thing we have to go off of. Well, sorry, not the only thing.
I can do it as anybody you want.
Well, right, but the only thing that I want to go off of is I want to hear a downtrodden, behind on his bills Santa being told that he has to get a job as Santa.
Okay. All right. And as written on IMDb, your quote is as follows. Santa Claus forgot to bring us a turkey.
Okay. Santa Claus forgot to bring us a turkey. Okay. Santa, I mean, that's funny because he could be talking about himself, I guess, if that is. Yeah. I don't feel like this is the 1966 film at all. That's almost taken directly from A Christmas Carol. So I'm going to say this is the 1912 A Christmas Accident.
Okay. It is from 1912, A Christmas Accident, delivered by Mr. Bilton.
It's delivered by no one. It's read upon the screen.
The poor ass neighbor, Mr. Bilton.
Mr. Bilton didn't have a turkey.
Mouthed something, and then the text on the screen told you he said Santa Claus forgot to bring us a turkey.
And then little Billy Bilton has to go over to to the grocery and grab some stale bread and come back home, and Mrs. Gilton sees this sight and says, Gary Gilton, get over here and glimmer at the gorgeous view.
And he says, bah humbug.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can do a tagline. Or fuck me, I always fucking say tagline on accident. Tag me, it is tag me.
You want to do it again?
Nah.
Okay. Tag me.
This is where I go to the plot details section and read some weird words or phrases that may be in some way loosely associated to the film. Kicking off with a Christmas accident, to read through a few really quick, we have stuffed toy elephant. Yeah, we have poor but happy.
Okay, well, of course, again.
Yep. We have a misdelivered item.
Oh, misdelivered.
We have poisoning a dog.
What?
I don't know. And then there's a second separate plot detail that says poisoned dog. So that must be important.
All in 15 minutes.
One of these tags says Turkey the bird.
So not the country.
Correct. Yeah. They want to really make sure you know what
Turkey
they were
the bird.
talking about.
Okay.
So how about the adventures of the wrong Santa Claus?
Mm-hmm.
What do we have going on there? We have escape by train.
Awesome.
Knocked unconscious.
Ooh, it's an action film.
Hiding in a closet.
Okay. Heist. Yeah. Mystery.
Yeah. Woman dances with a girl.
Ooh, scandalous.
It should be. Yeah. Hopefully their ankles were hidden.
Gosh. Yeah.
We have breaking the fourth wall.
Oh.
So maybe Octavius looks to the camera and is like, this one looks like another solved case for Octavius, and like twirls
really
his mustache.
For an early 1900s film,
yeah.
I'm now even more curious about this. Not just for the whole Octavius run.
Yeah, easily just watch this on YouTube anytime for 15 minutes. Last week, we're going to end off in The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. We have Belief in Santa Claus.
Okay.
North Pole, Department Store, Villain, Misanthrope, Christmas in Danger.
So it is his North Pole property, potentially. And there is a landlord? Who the fuck? Oh, gosh. That just sounds bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
So, we have the quote, which is what we usually do, but like I said, it's almost too Christmas Carol-y. I feel like that would be too simple to kind of figure out how that plays out. I do want to know, or maybe predict.
I want to know.
Where in the movie, and who, and for what reason, is the fourth wall broken in The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus?
It's Octavius,
it
absolutely.
Has to be, right?
And I do predict it is the end of the film, and I think that he looks to the camera and addresses the audience in some fashion.
So next question, is this the first time he's done this, or does he do this in every Octavius film?
I think at the end of every Octavius
see, I was going the other way.
Beginning with part 3.
I was
beginning with the third one.
I was going the other way. I was going that they've never broken the fourth wall because this is the last Octavius film. And he turns to the camera and says, thank you
and
for
I bid
following.
You all adieu.
Yeah, right. Okay, and then
except I guess it would be on a on-screen
this
text.
Entire time I've been picturing Octavius as a 12-year-old boy. I don't know why. Just like a young
amateur
sleuth.
Octavius.
Right.
This little.
So,
that's fantastic.
So how do you picture him as?
I picture him as an absolutely grown adult man with a full mustache that curls at the ends.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I still picture him as a young child, and this is almost like this is.
I picture kind of like a what is his what's the detective from Murder on the Orient Express? Whatever his name is.
Yeah. You asked me
Hercule Poirot or some
Poirot.
shit.
Yeah, right?
Poirot. Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever that dude's name. That's what I kind of picture. So maybe I'm just thinking of that, but that's what I pictured in my head.
So how about this? Since this is available to watch, let's do what we have sometimes done. Let's go ahead and place our bets. Let's each have a version of this moment. So you're saying that Octavius, the amateur investigator, is an older gentleman with a mustache who always in these films, at least from series 3 on, looks at the camera at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it his tagline? Like what is said or what happens to cause him to look at the camera other than just being the end? Like he's go, that's all, folks, or is it some kind of thing like that, or is it like a moment?
It's like Octavius does it again.
Join me next time on Adventures of Octavius. Okay.
Either that, or it is like a like Octavius bidding the audience farewell because this was like made as the final.
You can't change it now.
Series.
You said it was all of the movies. Are you going to go take that back and say it's just this one?
No. I'm not changing that. He still does it since part 3.
Okay.
But I'm saying at the end of this one, he either says like Octavius does it again, or it's something like that, or he is saying like goodbye to the audience because this is the final.
Like you're saying that he's known for this move, but in this specific one, it's adjusted because it's the last film.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Anything else that you would like to predict in the 14-minute runtime of this movie?
Yeah, he always there's always 8 clues that he finds. There are 8 clues.
Because he's Octavius. I got it. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
He always finds specifically 8 clues. You, as the audience, you're always just like, you're always kind of like trying to pick out what those 8 clues are throughout the thing.
Columbo. That's what this is.
In 15 minutes.
So are you saying that like he isn't ready to make his guess or whatever until he has the 8th clue, or are you saying that like it literally takes him the 8th clue to understand what it is that he's looking for?
Yeah, he always, once he finds that 8th clue, he is able to solve the crime.
Okay, so
and it's not
7th
it's
clue.
It's not like he's walking around saying like, "Oh, I need to find the 8th clue," or I won't be. But it's always just that's the thing. It's always the 8th number 8, and like every time he finds one, there is a text card that comes up that says like 1 footprint.
Oh, okay, yeah, I like that.
And then like whenever he finds the next clue, it shows up like the list grows with each one.
Yes. Okay. So again, no matter how obvious the 7th clue is, I still don't get it. I don't know what this is. Oh wait, there's a smudge on the handle. 8th clue, smudge on the handle. I know who it is now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Because I think that sounds pretty awesome, actually.
Nah.
Okay.
You're up.
So I think as far as the breaking the 4th wall, I think in my head that this is the only time that he does this. And it is just for this final goodbye, or this final film. To basically acknowledge that the series is over, or the run is over, and also as like kind of a nod to the fans who have come for all 12, I guess.
All 100 of you.
Yeah. So I think that it's only in this 12th installment, and it is at the end, but it's not like a catch line or a catchphrase or anything along those lines. It is only just to acknowledge that there's an audience and a thank you.
I bet the real answer is probably going to be something like, and I mean my guess was I wasn't joking about his like catchphrase or whatever at the end of it, but I'm going to actually predict that the real thing is probably going to be something as slight as like maybe he finds a clue or something like that, and he just like looks to the camera and like shrugs.
Okay.
Or he's like, I don't know. Is this it? I don't know. I bet it's something as subtle as that. Like I kind of think maybe he doesn't actually address the audience by saying something. I think he just like looks to the camera and kind of does like a motion of some sort.
Yeah, I mean, now that you say that, so yeah, I'm still going with it's Octavius at the end. But I guess if we want to have alt predictions at this point in time. I guess my alt prediction would be that it's actually the burglar, and that the burglar is creeping around a house trying to be quiet, and he turns to the camera, looks down the barrel of the camera, and does the sign, and then the title card comes up and says, "Be quiet. Yes, you out there, be quiet." You know,
and then he like tiptoes a few more steps and like looks to the camera again and does like a
maybe
like 2 eyebrow raise.
Yeah, maybe because usually in these films too, the soundtrack in a lot of places would be live accompaniment, you know, being played along by like a local organist or whatever. So I could also maybe see, you know, him talking to the organist outside, you know, telling the organist to be quiet, and then the music comes down. You know, in a sense. Anyway, but I'm still going to say it's Octavius at the end to say goodbye to the fans. Okay. And then as far as the rest of the film, man, I do love your 8 clue thing. I don't want to steal that. I hope that is real, but I don't want to steal it. But I will predict that the burglar is very scrawny and has to stuff the Santa costume that he, or whatever it is he's wearing that to look like Santa, and that throughout the film he has to constantly maintain like this, the positioning of the stuffing, where it's at. It keeps, you know, it's a hindrance, but he has to, so it's very obvious that he's not Santa, but to all the children or whatever that he comes in contact with, they think he's Santa, even though clearly he does not look like Santa at all. Maybe like the beard, you know.
And then
go ahead.
One question that I have for you is, does this Santa imposter know the legend that is Octavius? Does he encounter Octavius and he knows who it is? Is
Octavius a known thing in Octavius's world? Well, he is amateur.
Yeah.
I would say no. I would say that all the criminals in all of Octavius's films are not aware of Octavius even existing, let alone his heightened ability to investigate. So they think all these criminals have always thought that they are the smartest and the best at whatever they do, even outsmarting the coppers, you know. And then here comes Octavius with his magnifying glass or whatever it is that shows that he's investigating. And
maybe the fourth wall break is Octavius captures the criminal and kind of maybe he has some kind of like makeshift handcuff or whatever, and so he has this imposter Santa Claus restrained with like his hands behind his back, and he's like, "All right, we're going down to the station for booking now, buddy." And the Santa Claus looks to the camera and says like, "I sure wish I would have known the legend of Octavius," or something like that. And then Octavius looks to the camera and winks, and then we have like the
the iris shrinking in.
Yes, the iris shrinking in, and then or it shrinks in on Octavius's face, and he winks and then it closes the rest of the way.
Yeah, because that's what you have to have. Yeah. That's every silent film. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it'll be a fun adventure to go down.
Octavius will not be back.
Oh, that's the post credits. The credits are like 2 cards, and then the third card is Octavius will not be back.
Octavius was assassinated on his way to the station.
Oh, that could be it too. Like the thing is like this, they know that this is the final one. Maybe Octavius doesn't get the guy this time.
The imposter Santa brutally murders. I mean,
this was long before Code, as far as all of that goes, and it was very common at some point in time in film history to not have the good guy win. And them knowing that this is going to be the last one, maybe Octavius dies. Maybe
Octavius really bites the bullet in this Christmas special.
Oh, what Christmas cheer! Our hero has died.
Amateur sleuth Octavius meets his match.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so all of those are all possibilities. It'll be fun to go not only see the adventure of the wrong Santa Claus, but also to try to find and watch the other 11 films in this series.
Yeah.
I'm looking kind of forward to that. Like you said, it probably will only take like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe at most, if they're all, the same amount of time. So, okay, what was that called again?
Ho, ho, ho.
I'm gonna get you, Octavius.
What if this whole thing is him stealing presents and then plotting to murder Octavius?
Or what if the whole thing is like the 12th film, we learn that Octavius is actually the criminal mastermind.
Oh, he's actually been doing it the whole time and framing innocent people.
Yeah, framing innocent
on all of these. and then this one ends with Octavius getting arrested.
Somehow in the 14 minutes that we have to play with, there is a montage of the other films where it like flashes back to them from Octavius's point of view as he's planting the evidence to frame all these individuals. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
And then
it blow people's minds.
It shows all of that, and then it just hard cuts to hit the floor dropping out and him hanging.
No. I think yes, but I think right before the floor drops out and he hangs, we zoom in on his eye, and he still does the wink. Either
that, or it does drop out and he hangs, and then he looks up at the camera and winks.
Oh, there we go.
As he's hanging.
Not done yet. Yeah. all in 14 minutes.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that this is all within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We have to wrap all that up.
Okay.
Yeah.